This is NAB Show Live.
I'm Ryan Salazar, and today we're talking about cameras with Dan Desjardins, director at Videstra. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Ryan. Thanks for having me here.
All right, so let's talk about fixed point cameras for news and weather and why they're
Sure.
so important to broadcasters.
Well, there's certainly a trend right now where broadcasters are putting these cameras all throughout their DMA and going live to them during their broadcast, whether it be for news, sports, or weather. They've been using them for a while, but mostly in weather, but we're seeing a lot of inroads now where these cameras are being used in news and as sort of a scene setter behind the anchors. It puts the anchor right in the middle of the DMA, and that's just a beautiful thing. And you get beautiful shots, and the anchors look great, and the cameras look great.
All right, so it's kind of a two-part question. What factors are important when considering a fixed point camera solution? I assume one of those is resolution.
Yes, certainly a good quality camera. I refer to these those factors as sort of the big four. There are four elements that you really need to consider, and one is get a good camera. There are a lot of cheap cameras out there. I mean, I don't want to denigrate any companies, but you don't want to buy these $200, $300 FOSS cams and use these on air. They're just too cheap, too low end. So get a good camera. We like the Axis cameras. I have one behind me here that you can see. The other thing to get is a good internet connection. You want a high available upload speed from the location where the camera will be located. Most internet connections are sold by their download speed, but almost all internet connections are asymmetrical. So although you might get 100 megabits down, you sometimes get only 2 megabits up. But in some cases you get more. We like to see 3 megabits up or more. The more the merrier, but at least 3 megabits up is a good rule of thumb. The other thing that's important is a good accessible location for the camera. Certainly you want to choose based on the view that the camera provides, but a lot of people are enamored with putting these cameras up on towers. Those may be attractive, but they pose some real accessibility issues. That includes seasonal restrictions. Obviously, you can't address these any problems with the camera in the wintertime. Rigger and climber expenses that can be quite daunting. So towers aren't the best solution for placing these cameras. Better building tops, shorter towers that can be addressed by your in-house engineering staff. Even indoor locations that have good views out a window. That's ideal because the cameras are better protected even being indoors. They get a good view out the window and usually better access to internet access. So this is another critical step.
All right, so let's talk about why some camera brands are more important to others for fixed point camera deployments.
Sure. We at Videstra like the Axis line of cameras. They're a great camera. They have good APIs. They're solid, very reliable. A good camera fits the workflow in a way that makes a lot of sense. So what we at Videstra do is we create a workflow solution around these cameras that lets you manage the cameras in a way that makes a lot more sense for your production department. It eliminates all the complexity because there's a lot of complexity with these cameras and getting them on the air, and we eliminate that. And some cameras are just better suited to coming into these workflows than other cameras. Some cameras are problematic because they're older. They employ older technologies, but other cameras are newer and better. We like Axis, but there are other good cameras out there. There's cameras from Bosch, cameras from Marshall. Some Sony cameras are very good. The newer Sony cameras are excellent. So there are other cameras out there besides the Axis ones that we recommend. There's a whole bunch. We're compatible with all of them, but bottom line being, choose a good camera.
All right, so when I go to NAB show, I'm most excited about meeting new people. It's kind of an anniversary to see old friends, hit the cool restaurants and whatnot. One time, and this is kind of cool, the types of people that you pass. I remember going to the Renaissance, which is right next door in the parking lot there,
right,
and being in the elevator and looking at a guy's tag, and it says chief scientist at Technicolor, and I'm thinking this is amazing. So, the reason why I'm talking about that is NAB is such a big thing for me when you meeting people and networking. So, why is a show like this, and there are a few obvious reasons, so important to somebody at Videstra?
You know, NAB has changed over the years. When I first started going to NAB back in 1989, you could count the number of computers on the show floor with one hand if you were missing a finger. Today, everything is run by computers, and the world has shifted a lot. And people come to NAB to stay abreast of this changing technology, and it is changing. It's changing very rapidly. And a company like Videstra has tapped into that change and bringing cameras in from internet locations. They used to have to bring them in with microwave or put in their own telco lines for video. And that was hugely expensive. But now, deploying a camera like one of these is much easier, much simpler, much cheaper, and just possible because of all the advances in technology. And NAB is just such a great place to stay up with all the technology.
All right, so South Upper 12005, that's South Upper 12005. Dan Desjardins, director at Videstra. We'll see you at the 2019 NAB show.
Thank you.